everybody. How's everyone doing?
Morning.
Good. You're surviving the cold.
Yep.
Did not sign up for this.
Snow in Texas.
Right? What is this? Snow, woke up to snow on the ground. Anyways, thank you for being here for the Media Day for Impact Wrestling for our first pay-per-view of 2020, Hard to Kill, which is happening tomorrow in Dallas. I will be defending my Knockouts Championship versus ODB and Jordan Grace. I am currently the longest reigning Knockouts champion of all time, the longest reigning champion of all time in Impact Wrestling, as well as the Knockout of the Year. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free. Yes.
Hi, it's Paul Bradley with Fightful.com. Can we get a little bit of an insight or maybe just a hint at your game plan going into that triple threat match on Sunday?
My game plan, it will be the same as always. I am determined to create my own path, my own legacy, and I think that I've done that consistently throughout my entire career. I've been wrestling for 9 years in Mexico, Japan, Europe, everywhere. So I'm going to take little bits of all of my experience, all the people that I have wrestled, my competitors as well as my teachers, and continue to, dominate. I'm not scared to lie, cheat, steal, as they say it. And everyone knows what La Loca brings to the ring, and tomorrow you will see nothing more than that.
Miranda Morales with thechairshot.com. You mentioned all the accolades that you've just gotten, even through this past year. So what is next? What is that next level with already being the longest reigning Knockouts champion, longest reigning champion, Knockout of 2019? I mean, what can you do next?
Well, I think there's endless possibilities in wrestling right now. For women, that we are not being put in a box. We are able to, challenge men and challenge anybody we really want. I think there's so much cross-promotion work that could be done. You never know what could happen, as I'm the Reina de Reinas champion right now in AAA, and then Kenny Omega is also the Mega champion in AAA. Is there something there? Who knows? And as for Impact, which is my #1 priority right now and in my mind, is that whoever is successful at becoming the champion tomorrow between Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan, I want them next.
That brings me to my question. Nick House with Wrestling Inc. You are the Knockouts champion. If Tessa were to win, she'd be the world champion. Do you see a need for gender-specific titles if two women hold both the top titles?
I don't necessarily think so, but I also like the idea of the traditional way of having a women's title, just like you have weight classes or however you want to look at it. If Tessa Blanchard is successful tomorrow, I think that I should be the #1 contender to challenge her for championship versus championship. Everyone seems to forget that I am the one that won the Knockouts championship from Tessa Blanchard. I'm also the one who beat her again in a street fight in Mexico City. I'm also the one who beat her at Madison Square Garden for the Reina de Reinas title in September. She has had the shortest Reina de Reinas championship run, I think, in history, whereas I have a 900+ day longest reigning reign in that championship. Anybody else?
So your husband just went back to WWE. I'm going to ask you a question you're not expecting. How does this impact the release of the Iron Sheik Massacre?
Well, I can say this. We are actually in post-production. We've been put in post-production for a long time, and obviously with us being extremely busy, I feel like 2019 for both of us was extremely busy, successful beyond both of our dreams, with how far we have come since last year at this time. So it kind of got put on the back burner for a little bit, but now it's doing, all the special effects are being done on it. I've seen a few, updated cuts of it, and it is, I know that all of you will be very, very entertained. If you love campy horror, if you love comedy, if you love pro wrestling, it's telling a funny story that's been told over and over again, but in a pro wrestling way. So I really look forward to being able to share that with you guys. It's the first project I've written and produced with my husband, and I hope that we will do many more in the future. Yes.
Damien Gracia, Big Gold Belt Media. You've mentioned your legacy and that you're still building it after 9 years. How do you define that currently for yourself? What is your legacy in your own opinion? And in the next, let's say, 10 years, how do you want to be seen and remembered by the wrestling community?
My whole life I've just continually aspired to do more. If it's in school, if it was in dance growing up, in sports, and in pro wrestling. I think what I have established for myself at this point is somebody who does not come from pro wrestling, who literally has nobody in my family that's at all affiliated with it, who took a chance on herself, who had been turned down a lot, and who made that chance and that choice to go to Mexico and even there being told no, 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 constantly and continually fighting, and proving also that pro wrestling is a a language of the world. It unites cultures, it uniting styles, it's uniting languages, and I feel like I represent that. I'm Canadian, but I feel like I'm North American because I really truly feel that I have part of me in Mexico, part of me in Canada, and now in the US. So I feel like I think that I'm just an example for a lot of women in this business that the impossible is possible. I know that's corny and out of Taya's character, but it is true because I feel like I've done that. I look back on what I've accomplished and this story that I've told through my years in professional wrestling, and I think that I was probably the only one that saw the vision that is where I am right now. And that's okay, because I'll continue to move forward and continue to build on what I have, and 2020 is just going to be another example of it.
Thank you.
You mentioned building and growing. A big part of that was your time at Lucha Underground. Obviously, that project has gone by the wayside. We've seen a lot of people, a lot of performers introduced through that series, and a lot of different production techniques done that were never done in pro wrestling before. As a performer who was there for so long, what do you think will be the long-term legacy of that project?
In my opinion, I feel like Lucha Underground brought to the world, so many luchadors that honestly before were never ever given an opportunity. When I went to AAA 8 years ago, everyone thought I was crazy, and no one gave a, I won't use the word, but you all get it. Because they thought, that wasn't popular and that wasn't cool or whatever, however you want to word it. And I'm so proud to be part of, I at least consider myself to be part of the popularization of Lucha Libre and its culture in the last few years, especially with Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground gave all of you and gave all of us so many different wrestlers and so many different opportunities. If you look at the Pentagons and Phoenix and Daga and Son of Havoc, Jeff Cobb, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And, I hope that people view it as like a cult classic in the future and really enjoy it for what it is. And it was so magical to be part of something that was so groundbreaking. And I'm glad that it kind of, started people talking about what Lucha Libre is, made people view wrestling in a different way. It didn't have to be put in a box ever. There can be dragons, there can be people with magical powers that die and come back to life, and there can be a Weta Loca, okay, it's professional wrestling, and I think that Lucha Underground did that, and now people are having a little bit more fun with it, so.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier how anything is possible, interpromotional. You're down in AAA, you brought up Kenny Omega's name. Who are some of the interpromotional matches that you'd like to have, and what do you think the odds of those matches happening in 2020 may be?
And the list is endless because I feel like the pool of women wrestlers right now is just growing immensely, and I feel like women are becoming more confident to push themselves technically, their character, and everything. And I think more than ever we're seeing complete packages all across the board. And I think that if I was to, say, pick one person from AEW, I'm going to go for the champ because I could break her in half. Rio, wherever you are. And as far as, say, WWE, there's a few dream matches there, obviously, for me. I look at someone like Charlotte Flair. I look at lots of the girls in NXT. I've only wrestled Mia Yim once. I think that she's very talented and would love to do that again one day. Candice LeRae and I have barely touched. We've just only ever really wrestled in a tag match. There's people like Chelsea Green. Britt Baker in AEW as well. It's so crazy to me that I haven't wrestled these people. But I don't know, it's 2020, who knows what can happen, with everybody working together and the wrestling community coming together to create these dream matches for all the fans. So those are just, some off the top of my head. But right now what I'm concentrating on is tomorrow, retaining this Knockouts Championship and continuing to build into 2020 as your longest reigning Knockouts Champion.
Speaking of tomorrow, you are in a triple threat match, so that means the champion does not have to be pinned in order to lose their title. How do you prepare for a match like that? How do you come up with a game plan when you have so many factors in that match?
I've been in several multi-man situations like this before, obviously in different countries and different styles. You always have to be prepared to expect the unexpected. But I am a person that trains and studies this all year round. It is in my life, it is in my home, it is what I do and live and breathe every single day, along with fur boots and glitter, obviously. But I'm constantly studying who I'm going to wrestle or what I'm going to do or planning things and working on promos and thinking about creative ways of making it different because I never want to be stagnant or think that have people think that, my matches kind of resonate the same. And I think that I've continually done that for everybody. So expect the unexpected tomorrow. Know that I'm coming 120% in 2020. And I do not plan on getting pinned. I do not plan on losing this title. And you will all see me with my hand raised at Hard to Kill.
One more question, guys.
Yes.
I think with all the accomplishments that you've named, I think there still seems to be a sense of underratedness within the community. How do you take that type of criticism to boost it for 2020?
I don't really think it's criticism. If someone says that I'm underrated, I feel like it means that they feel like I should get more credit for what I've done. And I've done a lot of things, but if I start thinking like that, and it's that no one's paying attention, when I know that I've done everything that I could do to be the best that I can. Everything doesn't always work the way you want it to. This is just life. And, at the end of the day, when I choose to leave this business or if I choose to, do something else, I know that I'm leaving my best work for all of you. And no matter if one person sees it or 2 million people see it, I know that it's there and it will live forever. So that's really important to me.
All right. I'm going to pose for a couple of photos.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys can get up and move up to the front if you want.
That jumpsuit is everything.
Thank you.
Do that first. Sign in front of you.
Yeah, you got that.